A nice collection, no? क्या बोलता है? Looking nice, no? Suppose if we say that we're going to give away one camera at the end of this video, ज़्यादा लोग देखेगा क्या वीडियो? ठीक है. Jokes apart, no, this is not a year-end warehouse sale of Fuji cameras. We are here to kind of tell you that we use a lot of Fuji cameras. Some of them are on loan, some of them are ours, and we are, I mean, by now you already know that we are in love with Fuji cameras. And we also conduct GFX 100 series workshops all around the country. If you have sufficient number of people, I'd like to do one in your city too. So if you're interested to have one in your city, please let me know. Okay, what are we here to talk about? This year was, according to me, special for Fuji. They launched their amazing X106 and we reviewed it in our channel. Definitely an amazing camera, really premium camera. And they also introduced two more cameras in this year. And I think this happened after a very long time. And we have both of them today in the studio. Let me show you the first one. This is the X-M5. Nice, compact, very well made camera with a lot of interesting features in it. And the most interesting features is extremely affordable. Well, we have used the XE4. We were in love with that, but for some reason, Fuji decided to take it off the market. But this is very, very closely resembles to the XE4. And the next camera that we have is the X-T50. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the X-M5. So if you want to see that video, and if it is published already by the time you've seen it, we will add a link to this video somewhere in this box. Okay, so the X-M5 is what we're going to talk about today. Well, XM series was started long back and it continued for a while and then disappeared, and now it has made a comeback in the form of X-M5. Classic camera design. Well, this actually is the smallest among the cameras that we have today. XE4 probably is the the closest that we can think of in comparison to it. I hear that the XE5 is around the corner, but this is definitely a very nice camera. 26.1 megapixel X-Trans CMOS 4 with the X processor 5, which means at 84,000 Indian rupees, which is the MRP, of course you will get discounts at the dealers. This definitely, with all the features that it has, I think doesn't have any competition at this point. Of course, they have an X-Trans CMOS 5, which does its duty in the XH2S. Well, that actually, if they had used it here, it would have really put this camera out of reach of many of these entry-level photographers. So I think that's a very, very conscious decision by the brand to use the CMOS 4, but the processor is the same. Fuji probably is one brand which actually don't compromise on what goes inside the camera, whether it is their top-of-the-line camera or their entry-level camera. So this currently is their entry-level camera at the price point that I just told you. Let me tell you the real standout features. This can shoot 6.2K 30p at 10-bit internally, and that too is open gate, so which means you can shoot a 6.2 open gate and then crop it without losing your resolution. It also shoots 4K, it can also shoot full HD, during which time it doesn't do any pixel building or any other kind of maths of oversampling, etc. What it does is just crop into the video. I think that's a right way to do digital filming instead of doing all those mathematics. Well, it has a fully articulating LCD display screen, which is a touch LCD. I'm kind of someone who kind of resents if I have to dig deep into the menu to, activate certain features. But in this case, everything that I need is right here. I have the on-off button, I have the video trigger, I have a programmable wheel, I have the function control, and this is something which is Fuji is really known for, is their film simulation. You have 20 film simulations available on top of the dial. You have to resort to shooting in a mobile phone, like a mobile device way. So there are no, kind of viewfinders. Probably that's the reason why this guy is very small. And you have a quick menu and you have a joystick. And of course, you also have a battery. The connectivity ports too are very simple. A micro HDMI cable, a USB Type-C, and a headphone jack. I personally like the HDMI and the USB-C cable on this side because this is how I shoot. So this is how I kind of try to film. It's more comfortable if the cable comes from the left side, but here for some reason it's on the right side, which I need to kind of get used to if I'm handheld and if I'm shooting with an external recorder. Well, the proof of the pudding is in eating. Let's go out and shoot some stills and some videos with this camera, and we will come back and talk about it a little more. This is the X106, okay? That reveals the X-T30 and it reveals the X-M5. Now, this guy is really small. Of the two Fuji cameras that we reviewed recently, one was the X-T50 and the other one was the X-M5. My personal favorite definitely is the X-M5. You saw what we shot, in that recreational area near Pune. It was an early afternoon, there weren't too many people, so we could shoot very comfortably. And we shot against that bright early afternoon sun, and the camera held the exposure perfectly. And these are some random footage that we shot, during that day out with the X-M5. We used two lenses, in fact three lenses, the 1650 2.8 4.8, the 27 2.8, and some shots were taken with the 16 2.82. Because of the crop factor, 27 at times becomes a little limiting, but if you have a 23 or a 16 fixed lens, I think this is a perfect street camera. Like I said, you can work in stealth mode. The BTS of the X-T50 was shot entirely with the X-M5, and 4K 25, and we love that footage. Now, needless to say that this is an entry-level camera targeted at beginner photographers, but I think this guy is packed with more than what an entry-level photographer needs. Well, as a professional, two things that I missed, of course, is the EVF, and at times in that bright sun, the LCD was not bright enough for me to kind of, see probably everything that I needed to do. A feature that I definitely want to talk about is the tally light. So when you're shooting video, you get an indicator lamp and a red square around the LCD to indicate that you are now shooting, and that will definitely help the user. The vlog mode is something which I definitely want to talk about. With the TGBT1 and the vlog mode, a beginner content creators doesn't have to worry about anything, just keep on shooting. One. Second is that this has everything that a vlogger needs. It has 3 microphones. When you are working in a typical vlogger mode, of course, you can choose the front mic. It's a user selectable option. And if you are shooting in a typical follow mode, then of course you can use the rear mic. And then there is a third mode using which you can actually capture the surround sound as well.
So this is the 1650 without any stabilization. So you can see the entire 1650 along with the APS-C crop available to me for use. And once the OIS and the DIS activated, you can see the crop instantly. Now the video definitely is more stabilized, but what happens is I use that 16mm's advantage. So, well, the video becomes reasonably smooth. Well, unfortunately, in the vlogging mode, I cannot opt for the digital image stabilization or the OIS separately. It comes together. I can only add a boost to it. And this is the OIS plus DIS plus the image stabilization boost. You can see that there is a little more cropping in to my frame that has happened. Obviously, that's how the digital image stabilization works.
Other than the vlog, there is an interesting filter feature for someone who's buying this for, let's say, photographs. Very interesting, very early Instagram-ish kind of filters, but interesting ones. Take a look at these images shot with the filter. So we also did a continuous video test. Hey, Nandu, can you pass the fan, please? Now, this camera is compatible with this fan and derives battery from the battery. So this test that we did, take a look at this. First test was, of course, X-M5 with a fully charged battery inside, shooting 4K 25. The camera heated and stopped at about 38 minutes. And the second test was X-M5 with a fully charged battery, and we added this fan. And that test gave us 45 minutes. The camera did not heat up, but it ran out of battery because the fan also draws the power from the battery. And the third test was immediately after the X-M5 ran out of power for the internal battery. We gave a battery power external using a battery pack through the USB port, and that camera continued shooting for 3 hours, and we stopped the recording. So the camera was not showing any signs whatsoever of heating, and it continued shooting. Hence, like I said, this one is a real pocket rocket. And for all those people who cannot afford the X106, well, just throw in a 23mm on this and you have something which kind of compares, of course not in terms of resolution, but really kind of compares with this camera. And also it shoots like the XH2S, a camera which is probably 2 to 3 times more expensive than this. Well, all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed working with it. I think I'm tempted to ask Fuji for a long-term loan of this camera.
Yes, sir.
Hello? I think we all will enjoy this. Oh, sorry. I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye for now.